Hi everyone, it's Shar. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. We are approaching the month of August, and so it is time for me to set an August TBR. I didn't set one for July and honestly set myself up for failure because listen, I have too much choice, and having that many options is making me not want to read, which is why I am setting a TBR for the month of August. But I'm me, and I absolutely love like TBR jar videos or random prompts or randomly generated TBRs. I think that they're a lot of fun, and for me will also be a great way for me to pick books that I have been continuously ignoring on my physical TBR.
Of course the wind wants to start howling right now.
Anyway, if I look rough, besties, it's because I'm fucking sick. I am, and instead of resting, I decided to deep clean my kitchen and record a video. But here we are. I do have my TBR jar. This is in fact just a cup that I've filled with a bunch of prompts. I just searched for reading prompts online, and I'm going to put 5 to 7 prompts. We'll see how I feel, because I also want to read some KU books in the month of August. But without further ado, let me pick my first prompt. This one. Okay. And yes, I need to do my nails. Ignore it. Okay. A book with, I can't read that, trees on the cover. A book with trees on the cover. Let me see if I can find one. What do I think would have trees on it? Okay, so what immediately came to mind is the Last House on Needless Strip by Katrina Ward. This is trees everywhere. It is all trees. This is a haunted house story. From what I heard, it gets really weird, and there is a talking cat. This book has been my TBR for so long that I genuinely forgot. That's essentially basically the summary. A child vanished, someone's been accused of murder, then we have this man, his daughter, and his cat living in a perfectly ordinary house. Only thing I know about this book is that it gets really, really, really weird, and people tend to either love it or hate it. So this is my first pick for the month of August. Okay, next TBR. This one. A book I regret buying. What a fun prompt to pick for the month of August. What's a book that I regret buying? Honestly, I could probably pick any of my fairy loot books. They're beautiful, but you don't get a choice in what books that you got. And quite honestly, a lot of the books on here, I would have never bought. But I won't pick a fairy loot book. Instead, I'll pick a book that I impulse purchased at some point. I may have to look at the shelves in my room. All right, for a book that I regret buying, I'm picking Sign Here by Claudia Lux. Not because I don't think I'm gonna enjoy this book and that I don't like the premise of it, but because I bought this on a specific day where I was supporting independent bookstores, so I don't regret that at all. But this is the book of the month book, and I bought it used from a bookstore, and it was $30.
Clown? He's a clown?
Book of the month books don't retail for that much, and it was used. So I paid more than I would have ever paid for this book online, and I simply did not know. I bought it anyway because I wanted to support the bookstore. But in hindsight, I really should have said no thank you, because how dare I pay $30 for a book of the month book? It literally does not even cost that much. Anyway, this book is about a man who works in hell, and he's essentially trying to get like recognition or promotion by signing every generation of this family that he's been working with for hundreds of years. So he pops up Earthside and is trying to convince one of them to sell him his soul. That's all I know. I've heard very good things about it. It's something that I have been putting off for a while, and although the price tag that I paid for this does leave a sour taste in my mouth, I will be reading this August. Hey, this is actually really fun. My third prompt, I'm gonna dig around for the bottom one and see if I can find it and not cover my mouth. I have a bunch in my hand, and I think I'm gonna go for this one. This is a small one, it looks like. Book at the bottom of my TBR. That's so rude. How dare this TBR jar try to set me up for failure? Making me read books that I didn't want to read. But that's the point, right? I never go out and pick these books myself. A book at the bottom of my TBR. Okay, so the book that I'm picking for this prompt is Love in the Time of Serial Killers. The reason that I'm picking this book is quite simply because I read the first couple of pages and I truly just didn't care that much. I found our main character kind of annoying, so it pushed it all the way down to my TBR, but it was never an unhaul and it was never a permanent DNF. So I am going to put this on my TBR for August and once and for all know my final thoughts on it. The basic premise of this story is that there is a woman who is obsessed with true crime shows, true crime podcasts, and she moves into this apartment. Her neighbor comes over and for some reason she starts to suspect that he's a serial killer, but it's a romance and they fall in love. And I guess I could safely assume that he's not a serial killer, although if he was, that would make this a dark romance. And this cover is too cutesy for that to be a dark romance. All right, next prompt, which that is 3 books down. So we have 2 more prompts to pick. I'm gonna pick one off the top here. And the prompt that we've got, and this better be a good one. This is the prompt. It's upside down for you. Right side up, that is the prompt. A book I can finish in one day. I know exactly which book I'm gonna pick for that. The TBR jar has been kind after it's sabotaging me 1 prompt earlier. I am going to read This Is How You Lose the Time War. As you can see, it is a very small book. I think it's under 300 pages. Yeah, in fact, it's under 200 pages. So I know that I can finish this in one day. This is a story of 2 kind of spies, time traveling spies, and their only interaction is ever with each other. And they're both individually trying to secure their individual futures where one can't exist if the other also exists. And they start writing each other letters and fall in love, and it's sapphic, and that's all I need to know. And our final prompt for August, I'm gonna grab one right off the side here. This is the prompt. I can't read backwards, so let's see what it is. A word in the title related to reading. Of course, you give me a scavenger hunt one. I love it. Let's find one. Something that's related to reading, even loosely, I will consider it. I have an idea. Let me see some other ones. Ooh, there might actually only be one option for this. Our only option for this? Emily Wilde, I almost smacked myself with this book. Emily Wilde Encyclopedia of Fairies. First of all, it's so pretty. Like, look at how it's shining in this video. Anyway, the reason why I'm picking this is because the encyclopedia is obviously a book and therefore it is related to reading. It's a stretch, but it's the only option that we have. This is a book that I got from Fairy Loot. It is quite beautiful. I've heard this is a cozy fantasy. I truthfully know absolutely nothing about it, so let's find out. From what I understand, this is a romantasy. In this book, we're following Emily, who is a researcher of all things fae and fairies. She has been cataloging for quite a while, and while she loves it, she is fairly reclusive. She moves to a new town with her dog, Shadow. She's researching this species of fairies that people know very, very little about, called the Hidden Ones, and her academic rival, who's insufferably gorgeous, because that's how it always goes in fantasy romances, shows up, and she's trying to unravel the mystery of who he is and what exactly it is that he wants. I just heard this book is very, very cozy, which is great because it's going to balance out all of the spooky that we have going on this TBR. To recap, these are the books that I'm going to be reading in the month of August, with of course all the other books my little mood reader heart decides to pick up. This Is How You Lose a Time War is the book I'll be reading for the book I can finish in one day. Love in the Time of Serial Killers for the book that is at the bottom of my TBR. Sign Here for the book I regret purchasing. The Last House on Needless Street for a book with trees on the cover, and a book with a word in the title related to books and reading, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. So that is everything I'm going to be reading in the month of August in terms of my set TBR. Some housekeeping things. You will notice that I am changing my upload schedule. If you're new here, I used to post every Tuesday and Saturday, or aim for that as often as I could. But since I am getting a new job at the end of this month, I am switching my upload schedule to Wednesdays and Sundays, just because that's going to work better for consistency and my work schedule. With that said, thank you so much for watching this video. As always, I hope that you did enjoy it. If you have read any of these books, please do let me know. And if you ever have any ideas for TBR prompts that can go into my jar, let me know as well. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you are not already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!